right, so this is pretty cool because seen him for years. His daughter Abby comes to the team with us as well in Texas, and I finally make this happen. So before we get started, I got to ask you, just growing up, who were some of your favorite baseball players?
So when I was a kid, I'm from Atlanta, and I grew up Horner, Chambliss, and Murphy. So that was Bob Horner, Chris Chambliss, and Dale Murphy. Those were little kid, big heroes of mine. And then I think growing up in high school and college was Dwight Gooden. I wore number 16 one summer, because everybody wanted to be like Doc. Because that's my time.
Yeah.
I graduated in 1986. And
I'm not gonna say how old I was at 86.
You're -9, right?
I was one.
So he was, but he was an icon, and everybody wanted to be like him. So those were the guys.
I love that. I'm glad you mentioned Dale Murphy because I'm on the campaign to get Dale Murphy in the Hall of Fame. I just think that if you're a two-time MVP, you should be there. In your opinion, I'm pretty sure that's an easy yes for you, but plead the case to the fans of why Dale Murphy is Hall of Fame.
Well, I do think with the last generation of people that have been getting in through the Veterans Committee, that Dale Murphy's case could be made as well. Dave Parker
just got in
my opinion, helps Dale Murphy's case. But in my humble opinion, the Hall of Fame is a special place.
Yes.
Meaning that if it's even a discussion, that's a red flag for me.
Okay.
Just because unless you have the big numbers, the 3,000, the 300 wins, the 500 homers, the 3,000 RBIs, stuff like that. If you're able to do those, because that embodies your entire body of work, because you might have played different places that people don't know your name, but you put up the numbers. So I love Dale Murphy. There should be like a separate wing of like the really great iconic fabric players of the game, but not quite a Hall of Famer. But if he made it, it would be great, and I would love to be in attendance for that. That'd be great.
Oh man, I love that. So, I want you to talk about a player today that comes to mind. And I never thought in my baseball lifetime we would have a Babe Ruth situation, right, or something similar.
Yep.
The Shohei Ohtani. A lot of times that because he was in Japan, we didn't really understand the greatness of what he could be here.
Right.
We didn't know if it was going to actually work, but it's obviously worked.
Right.
Did you envision that we would have that possibility in baseball of having a guy that could be a two-way player, legit two-way player?
I don't think so. I don't think anyone in the industry saw anybody being able to, master both of those disciplines, because even in college, every college coach that I talked to about kids that want to go both ways, be a two-way guy, you have to master one of them, because you got to spend the rest of your day working on the other side of it. But with Shohei, I think because he's a left-handed hitter and a right-handed pitcher, there's equal amount of force and strain on his body, and that helps him a little bit. But just to be able to psychologically hold that intensity for the entire year, I think that's where players, I feel like, might have said, well, that's a little bit too much to ask. But this dude has definitely broken all of that, which helps younger guys coming forward that maybe they can wrap their head around being a two-way guy.
I know that, back when you were playing baseball, there was a grind to get to the major leagues, right? You don't know how long you're going to be in the minors. There was a rare occasion one guy could get called up really fast and be there immediately, like the Ken Griffey's or those types.
Yes.
But now we're getting a thing now where we're seeing these guys just immediately the day they get drafted, they could be in the majors probably that same season.
That's right.
The Angels had one, which is the first baseman. He was actually one of those guys. But Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
I mean, just the talent. Can you talk about that and just how the game has gotten younger?
I feel like that really speaks to the bridge of the gap that's been closed in major college programs and pro ball, because you're seeing guys that get drafted at the big schools, your Power Fours, Power Fives. They get drafted, they go right to AA. And I came out when I got drafted in 1989. I mean, there were two people that had went right to the big league. John Olerud, I think, was drafted, went right to the big leagues. But it was unheard of because there was so much ground that you had to gain. But now at the big programs, they're running the same information, so the players are fluent in the language when they're talking about spin rates and launch angles and things like that. The players know what they're talking about because they just came from Oklahoma State. And that hitting coach, or at Oklahoma, that hitting coach happens to be Matt Holliday. And you're able to bridge those gaps a lot quicker.
I like that. So I do this thing called Mount Rushmore. Obviously, you play one of the positions where it's just very difficult to put 4, but if you had to put 4 on the mountaintop, that if you were teaching a kid how to play the position, how to work, how to do everything, who are the 4, even the greatness, the resumes can be added to it. Who are the 4 for you on your Mount Rushmore?
Of closers.
Closers.
Well, there's 2, obviously, Mariano Rivera and Trevor Hoffman. Those are the benchmarks that'll never change.
Okay.
And then I think it gets down to the amount of work that, say, a Goose Gossage might have had to go through to get the recognition that he got, because he had 12 or 1,500 innings as a reliever.
Yeah.
And then, obviously there's Eckersley that could be in that discussion as well. The greatest is Rivera, probably.
That's 1.
Trev's 2.
Got 2. Got 2 more spots.
And then I got to go with probably Dennis Eckersley. Kind of made it in vogue to have organizations think about it from the back end forward.
Okay.
To give you a substantial guy that could end a game. And then I guess out of the homage to the mustache, I'll stick with Goose Gossage.
I like that.
I
like that.
Because he was a real hybrid. He was the 3 inning save guy, and then they changed the rule, and you could get a save with 1 inning, and that was him. So I think those are pretty good 4 that I feel like I could defend.
I can't argue for it. Actually, especially the first 2 for me. I think Trevor Hoffman is vastly underrated. I think that
I agree.
Playing in San Diego I think people forget, right?
Yep.
You're a Detroit Tigers guy. I think you're a lifer, personally.
I hope so.
You're a lifer, in my opinion, on that. We saw this team this year just make that leap.
Yep.
Whether it was Riley Green, but they got a kid over there, Scooble.
Yeah, Tarek Scooble.
Yeah. Can you talk about what you see in him and just this team? It's a young team.
Yep.
It seems like they're getting something special going on working in Detroit.
Yeah, they the last 7 weeks of the season they were incredible. They went 33-11 and had the best record in baseball. And I'm telling you, August 27th was my last game to broadcast that season, and did pre and post game, and they were 6 games under 500, and then they ended up going all the way and making the playoffs and being 10 games over. And that's just a remarkable run. But it all kind of started with Scooble and having him to be able to chalk up 7 innings that you could rely on. But what he did really well in my mind, being a left-handed pitcher, he made those right-handed hitters really aware of the inside part of the plate, because his changeup was so good to the right-handed hitter away, because when 99's coming at your neck, it's really tough to hit either one of those. And he really evolved. They put a lot of pressure on him. They put a lot of expectations on him later in the season to go in and win a game in Cleveland, and he did it. And he's a true number 1, and you just hope that he can maintain it, continue to work on it. The Tigers have a great pitching department. They can help keep him tweaked up and keep him dialed in. So outside of an injury, man, the sky's the limit for a guy like that.
And you talk about the Tigers. I mean, they may have the best luck ever. I mean, you can go back. Verlander, Scherzer, those guys were there, and I feel like this could be a part 2 of that, getting that game. Who knows the future?
Yeah, they signed last night. They signed Alex Cobb, who was the guy from Cleveland that was an injury guy. So look for him. Their pitching department is pretty amazing. They do a good job of developing, keeping guys in good situations. Jack Flaherty last year was a perfect example of that. So Michael Lorenzen the year before that, kind of rebirthed himself as well. So the Tigers have a track record, and it is fun to watch.
Cool. 2 more questions. So, in baseball now, I remember like watching baseball as a young person, and like you didn't have these lineups where your best hitter was like your power hitter was leading off, right? It was always the fast guy can get on base, certain things like that. So let's just do this hypothetical. If you could put your I'm gonna call it your deadly 3 that you had to face, and they would give any pitcher difficult time, who would those 3 batters be that you faced in your time?
Oh, you're talking about in my time?
In my time, in your time.
Well, for me, it's easy. The numbers tell you. It was Albert Pujols, Manny Ramirez, and Jim Thome.
Jeez.
And then you sprinkled in a little Richie Sexton on the side.
Okay.
And Chipper Jones had a great batting average off of me, but those 3 really stand aside with Pujols, Thome, and Manny Ramirez. Those were the ones that really gave me the hardest time.
I love it. Last question. So this is going to be fun here because I feel like in Major League Baseball has now embraced player likeness, and what I mean by that is this: players are able to express themselves, have fun, come out to certain themes. Like and Edwin Diaz did the whole thing with the lights off. Let's say we go back. You're coming. Yep.
Oh.
You can pick any artist, dead or alive. The song is named after you. It is your song, "Walking to the Mound," out of that bullpen to close the game.
Yep.
Who is the artist?
I actually had that luxury happen when I was playing. There's a Christian band called Mercy Me.
Okay.
They did a song called "Last One Standing."
Okay.
And it's a double meaning. And he told me that it wasn't about me, but I sure didn't tell anybody else that.
Mm-hmm.
But he wrote that song. Jesus is the last one standing, and he's a very important part of my life. And I was able to play that song coming into the ballpark and got my teammates. I was like, "Hey man, that's a great beat. I like that song. What is that?" And I was like, "Well, let me tell you, stuff like that." So, but there's a lot of cool entries. The one in New York with Edwin Diaz with the trumpet, and then Clase's got a pretty good one in Cleveland.
Yes.
And but the all-timer for me was Trevor in San Diego with Hell's Bells. So that was a great thing and a great era, and I was lucky to have a song come out to have people ask questions.
I love it. Well, I just want you to tell everybody, obviously you're doing good things in baseball as well still, obviously you're doing great things. Can you tell everybody where to find you? Because I think that it's most important that you live in the baseball life, you tell the story, you have the great stories, former player, everything involved. Can you tell everybody?
Yeah, I'm Todd Jones. I'm a broadcaster in Detroit, doing pre and post game for FanDuel Sports Network. Hoping to continue to do that, and I'm on Instagram, not the fake Todd Jones, and I play a lot of Fortnite. I've been married 35 years, got 2 kids, and love the opportunity to get a chance to hang out with the younger generation of players, and it's in very good hands.
Love it. Well, Todd, man, this is always in the making. I appreciate your time, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.